I would like to start the stream. All right.
Hey.
Dashboard. Sending data. It will tell us when we're live.
We are live.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, you're already on Facebook, and you are gorgeous.
Sweet. Wait, what?
You're gorgeous.
Don't tell nobody.
I won't tell nobody.
Ooh, dude, that looks good up there.
Hey!
It looks better there
Than it does anywhere else.
than it does on my actual screen. That's amazing.
I actually look better on there than I do in person. I can take it.
This is amazing. Okay, so
First show going multi-stream.
Facebook sending data. It looks like we're live. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, we are. We're live on, let's see, Facebook. I have not checked Twitter.
All right, we're live over here too. Yep. Let me refresh that and see what that looks like. And we'll start refreshing this and see what that looks like. I should be on here.
This is so cool.
I know. I've never done this, so bear with us as we get rocking and rolling here. We're trying a new live stream option here. While I'm making sure everything's set up, you want to refresh everybody's memory what our last week's colors were, and we'll rock off the show after we read the intro. Yep, there we are. We are live.
We are live.
And then we'll rock off the show with a nice little intro. And it says I'm live now. Look at that.
Hey, here you go. I want you to read this one because this is the one you had a hard time with. I love it.
All right. I've never done this, so bear with us as we get rocking and rolling.
Feedback.
I just want to bring the volume down. Yep. There we go. All right.
Cool.
So we've got that. I can see people watching. Cool. All right.
All right.
So we got somebody watching.
So here we are.
Yeah, we got it working.
This is the crayon that you pulled that you had a hard time telling the audience what it was about.
Yeah. So here, check this out. Let me read the intro and we'll start from there.
All right. Here we go.
So, as it turns out, my abortion article has been published and people are losing their minds. Bernie Sanders announces his predestined presidential loss, fake hate crimes more common than you think, and an 11-year-old arrested for not worshiping the state. All that and more tonight on the Unframe of Mind show.
You're listening to the Unframe of Mind show, the place to have the most mind-stretching, unprotected, intellectual intercourse of your life. Your host, Daniel Wagner, battles the forces of evil by lobbing fiery balls of truth, reason, and evidence over safe room walls.
Alrighty, here we go.
Wednesday Wisdom.
Ew, let's rock it out, dude. This is awesome.
All right.
This is awesome. Anyway, so we want to rock out the show. Welcome to the Unframe of Mind show. First of all, the place to have uncomfortable conversations without a condom. And
crayons.
I'm your host, Daniel Wagner.
And I'm Anthony Traylor.
All right, and we're here to give you some basic stuff that's been happening last week. We had a box of offensive crayons. This is a fancy box my friend sent me of offensive crayons.
Love them.
They're pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about them. So what we've been doing is pulling a few per week. We're going to do 3 per week, and then at the end of the show, we just repeat the colors, and then we challenge you guys to come up with some pieces of artwork using those 3 colors, and we'll present them on the show in the following week. That being said, just a quick reminder of what last week's colors were. Oh,
I love it because you had a hard time with this one.
My favorite one. It's gray. It's called Auschwitz Ash.
Me color you long time.
All right.
And then last but not least, we have self-identified blue, which as you can see is
pink.
It's pink.
So
I guess if you wanted to color a pussy hat, that would have worked great.
Right. And the only reason I'm really recapping the colors from last week is because we did have some people submit a couple pieces of artwork for this week's show. So I wanted to share those with you guys. And here we go. Let's see. Remember my buttons. I'm used to having a producer here, so this is different.
Producer.
So we need to hit the correct button for it and switch it on over to it and show you the first selection here is from my friend who bought the crayons. He says, I'm utterly offended. He's like the king of pun. I love it. We get in these pun wars all the time online. It's fantastic. And then our second entry was from his significant other, his fiancée, if you will.
Yeah.
They're fixing to get married this year. I'm
Nice.
super excited for him. This one here, she took the colors and literally drew each character. It's great.
Wow. That's awesome.
So creative. I love it. At any rate. So let's get on into our topics for the night.
Yeah.
And stay tuned. We'll be revealing 3 colors throughout the night and challenge you guys to come up with some kind of artwork around that. That'll be awesome. At any rate. So Bernie Sanders. I heard him announce his official presidency on the Young Turks.
Yeah, of course.
and I want to play this video clip to show you what he said, and the reason. And I want to share with you the reasons why I feel like he has ended up kind of predestined presidential loss. He's like basically said, "I'm going to lose the election, and here's why."
Yeah.
So let me just kind of play what we got here. See what we got, and if I can get the right tab, that would be fantastic too.
So many tabs.
I know, it's
Such
ridiculous.
a short amount of time.
It's ridiculous. All right. Oh no, I am falling apart. Oh, dummy. All right, I will get this. I promise. I'm used to having Haley here. She's really good at this. Here we go.
Senator Sanders, you know, I hear your policy proposals, and it's all very exciting. It's certainly what true progressives want to push for. But what concerns me is some of what we saw during the 2016 election. And I'm curious, were there specific lessons that you learned during that election that you're going to really look out for moving forward? And what are those lessons?
Yes, we have been criticized, correctly so, for running a campaign that was too white and too male-oriented.
Too white?
Change.
Too white and too male-oriented.
How do you run a campaign that's too white?
People were looking at his roster of who he had hired and said, look, there's this this is a whitewash here. You got too much white. We got to get some diversity up.
Doesn't that make you racist to some extent?
I mean, if we're going to focus on color, then yeah, it kind of does. Just a little bit.
I mean, you can't help who you demographically have working for you. That's insane.
Well, I mean,
but then to identify the fact that you're running a white campaign, nobody said that you were running a white campaign.
Well, actually, people did. They criticized him. They went through. I mean, people were actually taking the time to go through who's been hired and pointing out, okay, well, this guy's white, this guy's black, this guy's white, black. We got Indian, we got a Muslim here. We got.
Did anybody at any time ever take into consideration that maybe because those people were qualified?
Oh, let's see, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Let me play a little bit more. And then
all right.
We're going to have a very, very diverse campaign staff, and we're going to do a better job reaching out to every community in this country.
And in response to some of the attacks that we've seen in the mainstream press in regard to your campaign, what have you done to kind of fix those problems moving forward?
Anna, in my 2018 re-election campaign here in Vermont, we instituted, I think, the strongest protocol, maybe of any campaign, against sexual harassment. And we are going to carry that into this presidential election. And that means that every employee on this campaign is going to receive training and understanding what sexual harassment is about. If anybody believes they have been harassed, there will be an independent number outside of the campaign that they can call. And we have hired people who are some of the best in the country who will operate independently to help us on this issue.
All right. So at any rate, that's a basic gist of that there. Basically, the reason I was saying that he has announced his own loss right there is because basically what you said is like, well,
yeah.
we're instead of focusing on merit and people that could actually get the job done and have the chips fall where they may, you know, regardless of what the color scheme of my staff is, we're going to take extra time to focus on making sure that we get the right colors, we get the right mix, we get, you know, people that may not be as qualified but fit the description. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
I'm not saying because you're a different color, you're less qualified. What I am saying is, though, if you're
discrediting the qualifications
yeah.
because you're so worried about diversity, well, that's fine, but maybe there might be a reason as to why your campaign or the people that work for you are white.
And I'm sorry, I find that highly offensive. If I'm a black guy that's getting hired by the Bernie Sanders campaign, part of me is going to be wondering, am I only being hired because of
the color of my skin,
or did I actually qualify? Am I actually good enough to do this job?
That's the problem. I mean, for his campaign to sit there and say that they're not being too diversified, okay, you can acknowledge that, but then to turn around and basically publicly say that you're going to hire minorities, to work for you, it begs the question: am I really being hired on as a black or Hispanic individual, or even Asian, because of my background, or is it actually because I put the time and the effort in to work for your campaign? So I don't know. It's just
I think it's gonna. I mean, you're already fighting an uphill battle because of what the DNC did to him in the last election. And
that was Hillary that was involved with that. We all know that.
Right.
So.
And it's not the fact that they did it to him; it's the fact that they did it to him, and he just turns right around and just goes right back into the fold. Like, oh, we're still friends, yeah, no problem, guys. Don't worry about it.
But I mean, I guess as long as he's getting his paycheck, he's not going to be too concerned about it.
Right.
I mean, money walks, bullshit talks.
And still, you get a. Oh, was that you? Oh, I thought the computer was crashing. I was like, oh no! I heard vibrating.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I know we mentioned this before, but you just kind of get a peek into his character when you like the story about him being approached by a reporter at the airport, and instead of just saying, hey, I'm not taking any questions, and talking to the guy and just telling him straight up, being assertive about it. Yeah. No, he pretended to be on the phone and just walked away like, I'm on the phone, and the guy's like, I can clearly see you're not on the phone.
I can see your home screen on your phone, you dumbass.
That was just a small view into his character. The kind of snaky, squirmy kind of non-confrontational type of approach is going to take, and I'm sorry, we don't need that right now.
No. The only thing that scares me as far as Bernie Sanders is concerned is he is a true socialist, but he's also got a very large following with millennials, and this could be a telltale sign to see where we're at generation-wise when it comes to the next election in 2020.
Yeah, we'll see. I know there's a lot of people that are hearing what he's preaching and really, I guess, falling for it would be the phrase for it. I don't know. I can't wait to see what happens.
The IQ level in the United States is not what it used to be.
Forward in this, I don't know, man. So anyway, let me bring up the next section here. There was a. Oh hell, where was it? I know we've been talking a lot about Jussie Smollett and the whole fake hoax, and that's been a big topic in the news lately. And what I wanted to bring up,
and it doesn't seem like it's going away either.
Yeah, it said this is an update from last week's show, but the 36-year-old actor was charged Wednesday with making a false police report when he told authorities he was attacked last month in Chicago by two men who hurled racist, anti-gay slurs and looped a rope around his neck. The charge could bring up to 3 years in prison. It could also force the actor, who is black and gay, to pay for the cost of the investigation into his report of a January 29th beating. So that's interesting. The reason I was wanting to bring that up is because of the fact that you've got a lot of costs involved with an investigation.
It takes a lot of resources to look into matters like these.
Yeah. You've got. I mean, they're sitting there looking over weeks of footage from the cameras. You got resources pulled from manpower, from financial resources, and all sorts of things. Mm-hmm. And for him to pay back the cost of what that cost him doesn't even include the opportunity cost that was also lost in the process.
Right.
And what I mean by that is all of the other shit they could have been doing but weren't.
Right.
They wasted resources on this, but that's also resources that was not being spent solving somebody else's crime.
Actual crime.
Going after some actual perpetrator, or going after an actual hate crime if that was the case. And it's like this kind of bullshit comes up way more than you think. And
I think because of this situation and the high profile of I wouldn't really say high profile, because originally when he submitted the letter that was sent to him, the media coverage really didn't take it. Yeah. I mean, although you did have some politicians that tweeted out and talked about it's modern day lynching, but it didn't take off like it did with this. Now, my only concern is not really a concern, but you start to really educate yourself on how often does this sort of situation actually happen. Like when people are doing these hoax or whatever you want to call them, how normal is this? I mean, is this something that has now become the norm because of Trump's in office or the society that we live in? And I mean, that's the scary part about it is we really don't know. I mean, we have an idea because Stefan Molyneux, he did a rundown of a lot of just, I guess, the more popular hoax that were done.
Yeah, what he hit, like 5 or 10 of them we
He
covered
did,
last week.
he did.
Check this out. I actually was listening to some people talking about this topic throughout the week on my podcasts, and I heard
Bring
about
that
this.
up for people to see.
Yeah, I heard about this website called fakehatecrimes.org, and it's basically a database of hate crime hoaxes in the USA. And we're looking at a list of, let's see,
Holy shit,
the number right here.
350?
Well, the number right here is 350. That's just these that are listed. And the guy that was talking, he was writing a book about this stuff, and he's talking about thousands of them that have been covered.
Okay. Well, is this a span of the last 2 years, or how far back are we going date-wise?
Yeah. See, I'm not sure. I haven't had a chance to really dig into each individual story.
Because that would be the telling sign of how recent or as far as what's been going on with this.
Well, let me show you this. I've actually got a chart here on as part of their website. This will tell you kind of what you need to know right here. Reports of hate crime hoaxes per year. Okay, going back to 1979. All right, this is all in their list. And look here, 2016, 54 reports. Okay. What was going on in 2016?
The election.
Oh, the election where they were trying to convince everybody that our president is racist.
Is that, yeah, because
So-
look, right there in November.
And then, yeah, crime hoaxes per month during that year. This is 2016 right here, November of 2016, 21 of them. So all of a sudden,
that was right at the election
all of a
time.
sudden, a whole lot of hate. And I point this out to everybody this last couple of years, especially because I've really been noticing it.
Yeah.
Is all of a sudden the news reports of all the racial crimes just goes up like. All of a sudden, it's like,
Yeah.
and it's only during election seasons. It's only during the high-profile elections, whether it's during the congressional elections or whether it's during the presidential elections.
Yep.
I mean, you even look here, November 2018, right before the midterms. I mean,
that spikes again.
everything else around it is low.
But look at November of last year. It also seems to
November of
elevate,
last year is still higher than those around it. Yeah. Yeah, so that's just based on, let's see, early reports 79 through 94 are from the book Crying Wolf. From then on, most reports are from online news sources.
Isn't that scary though? I mean, isn't this just very?
To be clear, it says this data cannot be said to show the actual velocity of hate crime hoaxes, and definitely not the ratio of fake to real hate crimes. Okay, so they're not showing hate crimes; they're showing just reports of fake crimes. It's not to say that real crimes don't happen, but they're not happening
that's the
nearly
problem
at the rates.
These hoax or fakes, fake crimes are taking away from the legitimacy of actual hate crimes that are being committed.
Right.
And I think that's what needs to be understood is that when you pull these hoax and you do this sort of thing and you get so many people involved, true victims that actually experience true hate crimes or rape or whatever it is, because these are highlighted to where, you're made to feel as if, this doesn't exist. Well, in actuality, they do exist. And when you have those people going through, the actual crimes, you're not being believed anymore.
Yeah.
And it sets the tone to something that can be very dangerous for people that aren't believed, that can lash out and, take matters in their own hands. And, this is when I tell people that this can be very dangerous.
Or for people who perpetuate the actual crimes, it makes them feel like, oh, well, people aren't being believed anymore. I can kind of have a little more leeway to get away with this stuff because what are the chances that they're going to believe them?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the repercussions to this can be awful because, now you feel like you can actually, go out and do something and not be blamed for it. And, and it's just, man, it's just weird times we live in.
So there was something you said to me when we were discussing this topic,
right?
Is that these guys that were paid to beat up Jussie were paid $3,500,
right?
And you mentioned something about it was like we were on the edge of like a race war, like this. People were getting like super hot about this.
Yeah, I just I think what's going to end up happening is if we continue down this trend, if we continue to go down this avenue of white people being criticized, blamed, racially profiled, and I mean, if you want to keep this going, there is going to be blowback. And I mentioned this last week, and I was telling the audience that, if the Republican Party or the Trump supporters are continuously backed into a corner, we're going to come out swinging. And it's just one of those things where you don't want to push a party to that point. You really don't. And I don't think anybody wants us to get to that point.
You don't want to push anybody to that
point.
point.
No, you don't. You don't. But that is kind of the direction in which we're headed, and I really hope that this whole situation, everybody has learned a huge lesson from it. And if they haven't, then that really concerns me for society in general.
Here's what I was worried about is the fact that $3,500 was all it took to put us on potentially the brink of a major race war in the United States. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for the elites, that's chump change. That's nothing. Like, you talk about if I want to make people fight amongst themselves, and all I got to do is pay a couple guys $3,500 to fake a crime, and then we can take this example here and learn from it. Like, oh well, he did this and this and this wrong, so we'll make sure we don't do that. But now I'm just going to pay some more people and just keep doing this and keep.
No,
doing
I meant
this.
from the extent of learning our lesson, not to do this shit anymore.
Oh no, I get what you're saying.
But,
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying how easy would it be for the elites who are constantly trying to divide.
Well,
the
that's
average population,
right? The elites and the media, they want the racial division because it's so easy to point Trump as a racist and a bigot and a homophobe and all this other stuff. When you throw that mud his way, people want to believe it.
It's just easier to get like you and I fighting, or it's so much easier to get us fighting with each other than it is for them to let us actually turn around and focus on them for a little. I'm talking about the deep state, the government, the powerful elites, the people that are in charge of everything.
But I also like to think too that the government wants us. They want that racial division because at the end of the day, in 2020, that is going to be a voting factor.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. So I mean,
it's completely necessary for the plan to win.
But you would hope that enough people at this point, in this stage of the game, their IQ level would be a little higher and they would understand that what's really going on here, and it just doesn't seem like it's not going to happen. I mean, I hate to say this, but I think majority of the population is not as smart as one would think. And I would hope that people would step back and look and assess the situation and realize what your government, your politicians, and your media is doing to your thought process.
You mean think? Not a chance. No. Hey, so from the comments section, we've got if I can scroll back up, Jeremy Browning says, you need to stream on Twitch, bro. Get more views. To address that, yes, we're actually working on that right now. There's a program that I'm working with that's allowing us to do this, and we're trying out the free version to see how it goes.
But I think we're going to fully launch in April.
I think we're going to go ahead and go for it's a paid subscription model. And honestly, if you guys want to help us out with that cost, that would be greatly appreciated. There's a number of ways you can do that on the website.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things we're kind of trying to decide is how much money we want to put into it. How much can we afford? So
I don't think people quite understand.
Once we can do that, it's a lot.
It's expensive.
Once we can do that, we should be able to stream live to Twitch, stream live. We're streaming live right now on YouTube, Facebook, on my personal page, but I'd rather do it on the Facebook, the Unframe of Mind Facebook page, so that way people that they want to see this kind of content aren't being interrupted with this in my main page. I try to keep as much of that away to the main, the other pages I can. Because I know people don't want to see all the political shit all the time, and I get it.
No, they don't.
So Ryan Milford says it's so much prettier on Facebook. Yeah, it kind of is. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to go back and watch, but it looks great from where I'm sitting. And plus, I'm looking at one viewer on YouTube and like 6 or 7 over here on Facebook. So,
and I haven't even looked at Twitter yet.
Yeah, I know. I haven't brought it up.
I think the point
still figuring out how to do all this and be able to switch between tabs and look at all the comments, make sure I didn't forget anything. But yeah, I appreciate y'all for joining us and hanging out with us tonight. And if you want to throw us a comment or two, we'll be glad to read them out loud and make fun of us too. We like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're like,
hey, you can even hit on us too, and we'll respond.
So yeah. Okay.
Moving on.
So I want to talk about this. Well, you know what? It's a completely separate topic. I was listening to.
Hang on. Where's those crayons?
Oh, crayons! Right, we got to dig out 3 crayons.
Crayon.
We need 3 crayons tonight.
3 crayons
tonight. All right. Hey, thanks for joining the stream, Theron and Carol. Oh, you want me to pull it? You want to pull it?
I'll pull it.
All right. This is just for anybody just joining us. These are the offensive crayons. So,
Yeah, let's see.
Jeremy Browning says, I got a purdy mouth, winky
Purdy
face.
mouth.
I do have a purdy mouth. It's a shame I covered up with all this hair.
Oh, shit.
All right. What do you got?
Miscarriage maroon.
Oh, what the fuck? That's a thing? Oh, my God. Well, he did not misread it, folks.
No, I didn't.
Miscarriage
But
maroon.
you know, and it kind of falls into the whole article that was currently written.
So stay tuned.
In a way.
Stay tuned for the show because we're going to pull 2 more colors, and at the end, we're going to challenge you guys to draw a picture featuring those 3 colors. So on to the next topic. I was watching rather listening because I do most of my research through listening to podcasts. So
Right. Which will be coming to Spotify soon.
Fortunately, there was a video of this, so I was able to bring that up for the visual portion of this. Dr. Jordan Peterson was speaking with a gentleman by the name of Dr. Stephen Blackwood, and it was toward the end of the interview, and they were talking about responsibility and the importance of it. And I thought it was a really cool, like just a neat. Oh shit! So we got. Sorry, just to interrupt for the comments. Rick says that's. Right. Anthony is looking hot. Daniel, keep hiding behind the beard. Thank you, sir. Ryan says they can't be any more offensive than Anthony's shirt.
It's the American
That
flag,
is a very
baby.
offensive. I was wondering why I was feeling like some racist vibe coming from you, and now I know why.
All I need is a white hood, and I'm good.
Oh shit! All right, so I'm gonna play this video here. Just a couple minutes of it. Not that one.
No, and Barney Sanders.
I'm way
Barney.
ahead. I'm way ahead. At any rate, I guess I better click back over here for it because, yeah, I've learned my lesson. So we're going to play the video. I miss my producer.
Well, so that's absolutely and chronically overwhelming, but it's absolutely remarkable to see this, to see how much desperation there is for this. When I talk to audiences about the relationship between responsibility and meaning, they inevitably go dead silent. There's not a rustle, there's not a cough. It's like, is that the secret? Is that the secret? Is that it's the voluntary adoption of responsibility? It's like, well, that's the central message of the West. It's like to pick up your cross and bear it, you know. And everyone's been told that, but they don't know what it means because it's not been articulated enough so that it becomes something that's practical. It's like, yes, look at the terrible responsibilities you have right in front of you. Your family is hurting. You're in trouble. There's problems in the world. It's like all of that's right there. And all you have to do is take responsibility for it. And then you've got what you need all of a sudden. You think, oh, that's what I needed? I didn't know that. I thought that was something to avoid. It's an impediment to short-term hedonistic pleasure, you know, and to happiness. There's nothing happy about lifting the suffering of the world onto your shoulders. It's like, this is way, way better. Happiness isn't what you feel in the King's Chapel. It's something so magnificent that happiness pales in comparison. And so it's thin gruel happiness. And young people know that. They're pursuing hedonistic pleasure. And you know, no wonder. But there's nothing in it that's sustaining. And all it does is make you cynical. It's like, is that all there is? Another one-night stand? Another binge party? You know, and it's not like I have anything against, in principle, against some of that exuberant youthful hedonism.